Imagine carrying this heavy, invisible backpack. It's just filled with anger, resentment, all those past hurts. Every step you take, you feel this weight pressing down. It affects your mind, your body, even, future relationships. You might find yourself replaying old arguments or wondering how someone could have possibly hurt you like that, dwelling on betrayals. It's not just emotional, right? It feels physical, too.
Yeah.
Today, we're diving deep into the, surprisingly powerful world of forgiveness, but not as some kind of moral duty or a sign of weakness. We're talking about it as a profound act of self-liberation.
Exactly. And what's truly fascinating here is how letting go can literally actually change your brain, it can heal your body, and unlock a much more peaceful, maybe even purposeful life for you. It's really an active decision. It's not just passively accepting what happened.
Okay, so our mission in this deep dive is to really unpack the psychology. And you mentioned the neuroscience of forgiveness. We want to reveal why it's maybe surprisingly easier sometimes to forgive than to just keep holding that grudge. And we'll give you some practical steps, hopefully, to start your own journey toward freedom from resentment. Expect some surprising facts, maybe some aha moments and insights that go way beyond just the simple definition. Okay, let's unpack this then. That feeling of being wronged, that constant internal replay. It really feels like we're punishing the other person by holding on to it, doesn't it? But what's really happening to us when we cling to those hurts?
Well, it's interesting because when you hold on to chronic anger and resentment, your body actually gets kind of stuck in a perpetual fight or flight mode. And this is just a metaphor. It triggers real physiological changes. Your heart rate increases, blood pressure goes up. Your immune system can even become suppressed over time. And these sustained changes, well, they significantly increase your risk for serious conditions, things like depression, heart disease, even diabetes. It's like an internal siege, really.
Wow. So what does that really mean then? It's almost like that old saying, like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. If you allow yourself to just dwell on hurtful events, these grudges, they get filled with hostility and they really take root. And it isn't just about feeling bad in the moment. It's about these negative feelings actually crowding out the positive ones. You can get swallowed up by bitterness or this sense of injustice. Think about how that plays out. You might unknowingly bring that anger, that bitterness into new relationships, or find yourself unable to truly enjoy the present moment. You might feel perpetually irritable or anxious. It can put you at odds with your own values, your spiritual beliefs maybe. And sadly, it can cause you to lose really valuable, enriching connections with others. Look, the act that hurt you, that might always be part of your story, right? But the work of forgiveness can dramatically lessen its grip. It lets you move forward.
Okay, so given how damaging holding on clearly is, it brings up a really crucial question. What is forgiveness then? Is it just like forgetting what happened or excusing someone's behavior? Because that feels like a really common misconception.
Absolutely. And it's vital we clarify what forgiveness is not.
Right.
It does not mean forgetting the harm done, not at all. Nor does it mean excusing the person's actions. And it certainly doesn't mean you have to reconcile or make up with the person who caused the harm. At its core, forgiveness is an intentional, conscious decision. It's deciding to let go of the resentment and anger you're holding on to.
So if it's not about them, what is it about? Who really benefits from this act? Is it really for us?
It's about freeing you from the control that person or that situation has had in your life. That's the key. It brings this profound kind of peace, really, that allows you to focus on yourself, to reclaim your energy, and just move on with your life. It's an active process. You make a deliberate choice to release those negative feelings, whether or not the person who hurt you deserves it. The focus shifts entirely inward onto your own healing.
All right, now for the real deep dive. The brain. We've heard forgiveness is good for us, but how does it actually physically show up in our neurology? Is our brain literally reshaping itself when we choose to forgive?
This is where it gets really interesting, yeah. When we actively engage in forgiveness, it doesn't just feel good emotionally. It actually activates specific structures and pathways in the brain. And these pathways, they improve our resilience, our capacity for social connection more broadly.
Right.
Think of it like a mental muscle you're exercising. Conversely, holding on to a grudge, it actually prevents these strength-building processes from happening. It leaves those pathways sort of underutilized, maybe even weakened. Researchers have pinpointed broadly 3 main brain systems that essentially light up or become really active when we practice forgiveness. First, there's the empathy and perspective-taking system.
Okay.
You can think of this as your brain's sort of emotional GPS. It includes regions that signal our own feelings about forgiveness, but crucially, they also help us mentally step into the harm doer's shoes, gain some context. For example, if you consider that maybe their actions stem from their own suffering, perhaps severe poverty or past abuse, or even just profound insecurity.
Right. Understanding their why, maybe.
Exactly. It can shift your perspective from pure personal anger to a more nuanced understanding. Now, this doesn't condone their actions, not at all, but it reframes the hurt. It makes it feel less personally targeted, and often that makes it easier to release.
That's a really powerful shift. So it's less about excusing and more about just understanding the complex messiness of human behavior, even when it causes pain.
Precisely. Then second, we have the coping and cognitive control system.
Okay, coping and control.
Yeah, this is like your brain's inner calm switch. It
Yeah.
helps you manage distress and consciously reallocate your attention. So when that distress flares up, that familiar replay of the hurt, instead of spiraling down into despair.
Which is so easy to do.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
This system allows you to pause, maybe take a deep breath, and intentionally choose to reflect on the comfort and support you do have. Or you can redirect your attention towards something restorative, like connecting with nature or calling a loved one. It's about reframing past harms, not just for healing, but for learning and growth. It allows you to choose your response rather than just being driven by raw emotion.
Got it. And the third system?
And third, there's the system for making social decisions. This acts like your internal sort of well-being compass. It plays a central role in helping us actually decide to let go of the anger and hostility and instead direct our energy towards our own well-being and our core goals like self-compassion. And interestingly, simply making the decision to forgive, when you feel ready, that's one of the initial and most potent steps in activating these brain changes.
Just the decision itself.
Yes. It's like sending a signal throughout your whole brain saying, okay, we're moving on now.
Mm-hmm.
And beyond these specific regions, forgiveness also profoundly influences our neurochemicals. Oxytocin, for instance.
The love hormone.
Yeah, often called the love or bonding hormone. It actually plays a significant role in this process.
Mm-hmm.
It promotes positive social interaction. It reduces feelings of resentment. It enhances social bonding and fosters trust. It's like a chemical hug for your brain, really, encouraging you to let go of those emotional barricades you put up.
So these incredible changes in the brain, they must translate into very real, tangible improvements in our everyday lives, right? It almost sounds too good to be true sometimes, but what are some of the maybe surprising side effects of embracing forgiveness?
Oh, absolutely. The benefits ripple outwards. They extend far beyond just feeling a bit better emotionally.
Yeah.
They really touch every facet of your well-being. Forgiveness can lead to healthier relationships, obviously, improved mental health, significantly less anxiety, stress, and hostility, fewer symptoms of depression. Just imagine that less internal turmoil simply from letting go. And then on the physical side, the studies show really remarkable results. Lower blood pressure, a stronger immune system, improved heart health, even better cholesterol levels.
Wow.
And things like better sleep and reduced chronic pain. It's truly a holistic transformation.
That's incredible. I think I remember reading something about that connection, how forgiveness impacts stress and mental health, maybe that Harvard study. Could you shed a bit more light on what the research is showing there?
Yes, that Harvard study is a perfect example. It found that forgiveness can powerfully boost mental well-being precisely by actively reducing anxiety and depression. But here's the really groundbreaking part. For individuals who scored high on measures of forgiveness, high lifetime stress didn't even predict poor mental health.
No way.
Yeah. It suggests that cultivating forgiveness can actually build this profound internal resilience. It acts almost like a buffer against the cumulative hits of life's stressors.
That's huge.
It is huge. It shows forgiveness isn't just about healing old wounds, but actively building strength for future challenges too.
Oh, okay. This all sounds incredibly beneficial, but, for many people listening, it probably still feels complex, especially if the hurt runs really deep or maybe it was traumatic. So how do we actually do this? What are the practical steps to even start on this journey?
Right. And forgiveness is a commitment to change, and it definitely takes practice.
Yeah.
It often unfolds in stages, and everyone's journey looks a little different. There's no single right way, but there's a clear starting point that often gets overlooked. We begin by forgiving ourselves.
Ourselves, that sounds counterintuitive. Why start there?
It does sound counterintuitive, but it's a radical and crucial first step.
So forgiving ourselves first. What does that actually look like? I mean, let's be honest. Many of us are our own harshest critics. How do we approach that initial hurdle?
You're absolutely right. It can feel like climbing a mountain sometimes. A good way to start is to actually make a list. Write down the things you find hardest to forgive yourself for. Maybe it's a past mistake you made, a missed opportunity, maybe feelings of laziness or self-hatred, impatience, even things like body image issues, anything. The key here is to recognize that everything is equally forgivable. It doesn't matter how big or small it feels. Then, find a quiet, relaxed space. Just sit with your list. Consider each item one by one and repeat this phrase, maybe silently, maybe aloud. To the extent that I am able, I forgive myself for any hurt or harm I have caused myself intentionally or unintentionally.
To the extent that I am able.
Yes. And then add this incredibly powerful phrase, even if I can't forgive myself right now, I forgive myself for that. For as long as it takes, I will continue to offer myself the priceless gift of forgiveness. The self-compassion, it really lays the essential groundwork for everything else.
Okay, that makes sense. Building that foundation. Once we start that process, what's the next step? How do we then shift to forgiving others, especially when the pain feels so raw, so profound?
Right. So next we focus on forgiving others. And the first step here is you absolutely must acknowledge your feelings. You have to be honest about what happened and how it made you feel. Don't try to suppress the anger, the sadness, the betrayal. Those feelings are valid. They need to be heard, at least by you.
Okay, acknowledge.
Then consider empathy. Now, again, this does not mean justifying hurtful behavior.
Yeah.
But it is about trying to understand where the other person might have been coming from. What's often overlooked here, and it's a hard truth sometimes, is that hurt people tend to hurt people.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Individuals who are genuinely happy and at peace, they usually aren't going around intentionally harming others. There's often an untold story, right? A personal wound, a challenging background, some kind of pain behind most acts of anger or betrayal. Understanding their context again, without condoning their actions, can help you take it less personally. And that can create just a tiny crack, enough space for release to begin.
That's definitely a difficult point for many people, though. How can you empathize with someone who hurt you deeply, especially if you feel their actions were completely inexcusable? It can almost feel like a betrayal of your own pain to even consider their side.
It's a really common and valid concern. But empathy here isn't about condoning, it's about seeing them as a human being, flawed just like all of us. It opens us to the possibility that we're not so fundamentally different, and that maybe, in different circumstances, facing different struggles, we might have made similar, regrettable choices. Think of it this way. You can be empathetic towards someone and simultaneously set really firm boundaries to protect yourself going forward.
Okay. It's not either.
Exactly. It's about adopting a both-hand perspective. You can understand why they might have acted that way, perhaps out of their own pain, without ever accepting what they did as okay. Then finally, make the choice to forgive. This decision is incredibly powerful, and you might have to make it over and over again, especially if the pain resurfaces, which it probably will.
It's not a one-and-done thing.
Definitely not. It's a repeated intention, a practice. And crucially, let go of expectations. This is a big one. You may never get an apology. You may never get an explanation. The person who hurt you might never change. If you're waiting for them to make it right, you're inadvertently giving them continued control over your healing process.
Right, you're stuck waiting.
Exactly. So focus on reclaiming your peace, regardless of what they do or don't do. This is where that powerful let them theory can be useful.
Let them. Tell me more.
It's this idea of just letting them. Let them be wrong about you. Let them misunderstand you. Let them gossip. Let them have their opinion. It's about accepting the reality you can't change their behavior, their perspective, and taking radical control over your own response, your own inner state. And if you can't talk to the person directly or don't want to, journaling about your forgiveness, writing it all out, or even just discussing it with a trusted friend can be incredibly therapeutic. Gets it out of your head.
Wow. So we've really covered a lot. We've journeyed from that heavy burden of unforgiveness, looked at the frankly surprising science of how forgiveness reshapes your brain for resilience and connection, and explored those profound physical and mental health benefits that come with letting go. And we've seen that forgiveness isn't just about releasing anger towards others, but also extending that same priceless gift to ourselves first.
Indeed. I think the core lesson here, if there's one takeaway, is that forgiveness isn't passive. It's not a single event. It's a powerful, active, and ongoing process. It's fundamentally an act of self-care, leading to profound liberation. It truly is a gift you give to yourself, not really to the person who harmed you. It allows you to cultivate inner peace and a real sense of fullness in your life.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, Maybe a final thought to leave people with. How might recognizing that everyone, truly everyone, including ourselves, is often just trying their best, reacting from their own pain, their unique upbringings, their own unseen struggles, how might fully grasping that allow us to widen our perspective, maybe stimulate deeper compassion, not just for others, but for ourselves too? And could that truly open the doors to healing, to peace, to harmony in our lives, no matter what situation we're facing? What's the broader story of your pain, the pain you might be holding on to? And how might understanding that story bring you closer to genuine forgiveness and ultimately freedom? Something to consider. Maybe think about which of the practices we discussed today might be your starting point on this potentially transformative journey. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive.